live back. We got a ZF guide for you. 2 quick tips before we get to the beans. This is Mage AoE farm for gold. So first tip, your food and water that drops in ZF, delete it. It's not worth keeping. It's not worth vendoring. The troll sweat as well. If you're vendoring troll sweat, you're wrong. Delete it. Get something more valuable in that slot before you go back to vendor. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the gold tips. It's going to help you out in the long run. Second tip we're going to start with is don't activate the boss. I know you guys watched a lot of videos. They activate the boss. You know, it makes the zombies run to the boss, so you're not taking instant damage. You're able to click a lot more graves to start off, and they run back to you. It's a little bit more survivable. Sorry. The only problem is when they reset, they don't actually all reset like they are supposed to. Half or more of the zombies are gonna run and bug inside the wall right there. You just saw it. Now look how many zombies we have left. It's just a pain in the butt. It's something you don't have to deal with, so don't activate the boss. So here's the beans. I have the video sped up. We're gonna take the guys in the hallways out, the patrols, because if you accidentally pull one of them might be like a hunter type dude, and they'll just mess up the pool. We're gonna take this boss out. The one thing you need to do to be able to one pull this place is to clear out this bug room. They're actually very profitable, as you saw in the first screenshot with all the loot. The husk fragments and the insect wings, when they stack up to 5, they sell very well. So you should be clearing this out every run, no matter what. And it also buys you time for your reset, the cooldown on the instance reset. If you're farming it back to back to back to back, I was just gonna add time so that you're in here a little bit longer each run. So we pull the bugs, AoE them down, loot them. Super easy. They die in about 2 blizzards. When you pull them, they aggro one another, so you don't have to run around hitting every one of them. You just lead them into more bugs, and they'll pull themselves. Just looting up real quick. They do drop greens, and they do drop a lot of insect wings, a lot of husk fragments. Here, I'm going to kill this other patrol. Just get him out of the way, reset, recuperate, get the mana back before we start clicking graves. I do have this all sped up. It's a pain watching it in real time unless you're just trying to learn all the small details that goes into the pool. So I pull the entire, I call it the right side first, and now you see we have way more zombies available. Look at all that loot, baby. That's money. That's money right there. But yeah, we reset them. They don't run into the wall because we didn't aggro the boss. They reset back on top of the graves from which they came, and that makes the pool a ton easier. We're able to just aggro one and then lead him through a lot of the other zombies. Some of them we do have to body pull on our mount, and we do take a lot of damage when we do the initial pull. But as you're about to see, we're gonna use that bug room to kite all these guys around while we're on our mount after we pull all of them and get them all clumped up. I also do have a timer so you guys can see. I think it ends up taking me about 8 minutes and 40 seconds to do the entire run, clear the bugs, clear the pats, set up the zombies to get ready for pull. As you see, I lost a whole bunch of health. You just aggro all of them, run back to the bug room, and run in huge circles until they're all clumped up. I know it seems scary when you're first doing it. You'll lose a lot of health. Sometimes you might not. Unfortunately, we had to resist, so we popped cold snap. We don't even have to ice block here. As you can see, this is the most dangerous part of it, and we don't even ice block. If you're going to cone of cold, be very careful. The melee leeway is not fun. If you mess up, if you're off just a foot, it's the end. But as you can see, plain and simple, boom, they're dead, no problem, all in one pool. After the initial pull, we don't even take damage. if you do it right anyways. I would recommend having your carrot on a stick on, just to give you that little extra oomph on your mount to stay clear. Up next, I'm going to show you guys my buddy, really good friend, Rotting Dead. He's going to show you what not to do in a one pull. He's activated all the zombies already. He's ready to round them all up. Having a couple issues getting them. They didn't want to pull right. But this is for you guys. We've all done this. If you've tried to one pull it, even if you're doing like 2 or 3 pulls, this happens to all of us. It's very unfortunate, but that's all right. He's a great guy. Love him to death. But yeah, don't do that. Go with the method I showed you first off. But up next, I have a real-time one pull instead of sped up. So if, in case you missed anything or whatever, you know, if you just want to see it in real time to get a better idea, that's what I got for you now. So the first thing you want to do when you're running in, it doesn't matter if you aggro tons and tons of mobs. I'm about to show you, just like the zombies, you can reset everything. The only exception would be like casters and marksmen. If they're in range of you and in line of sight, they will still cast at you or auto shot you, etc. You can also use this pot to reset. I'm about to let the mobs run up. That way you can see them reset physically. I could have just showed you my food, you know, being able to be eaten, or my drink to be drinking. See, a lot of them stop. You do got to get the pot just right, but it normally works, so it's a lot easier to get on and off of. But since there's marksmen, I'm going to run up here and reset everything. I'm going to jump behind the skull statues. That way I can line of sight the marksman. No big deal. They'll reset. I'll eat up. The first thing you want to do is either clear the pats out of the grave area, the graveyard. There's 2. One walks up and down the hallway when you're on your way in, and another one is in the he patrols from the like middle of the graveyard out towards the pyramids, the giant staircase. So we'll get those 2, and then the other one is the mini boss in the bug room. He's got a little more health. It's no big deal, just takes a couple seconds longer to kill him. Other than that, it's pretty simple. We'll kill him, run to the bug room. And if the third patrol that walks towards the pyramids isn't in the room when you reset, just go ahead and do the mini boss here that I'm on and the pat in the hallway, just to get them out of the way. And I was typing here, accidentally ice block. Super pleb. But yeah, it buys you time for the third pat to get back into the graveyard room, the zombie room, whatever you want to call it. And also, after you kill these 2, you can go ahead and clear the bugs out, which also buys more time for the patrol, the last patrol to get to the room. Just makes it super easy. We're going to eat and drink to full. The only time I do use ice block when I'm AoEing in ZF is on the bugs. I don't know if you guys have done the bugs before or not, but they actually cast like an AoE, like a poison cloud type thing. So they don't chase you the entire time. They're not like full on melee. They take a couple seconds to cast their little ability and poison the ground. So what that means is they won't all pull to you at the exact same time, so you'll be eating damage from half of them while the other half are casting. So we ice block, wait out their cast times, let them all group up, because if you don't, they will kill you. I mean, you can try Cone of Coaling them and kite them around till they're all to you, but that just creates more time for the other bugs to stop and cast, even though they're slowed. So it's just best to ice block, get it over with. You don't need your ice block for the one pull on the zombies. because we group them up so well with our mount. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's gonna happen where you're gonna get off your mount and try to freeze the zombies, and you'll only freeze half of them because life sucks, and you're gonna die. Even if you had ice block, normally that's not gonna help because you'll die before the global cooldown is up to use your ice block in the first place, unless you're a god, which you very well could be. But yeah, we loot the bugs. We're gonna run back, kill the patrol. Should be in the graveyard by now. We'll get him out of the way. We'll reset to full. And I just want to show you guys, I don't start the boss. I do not activate him. Here's the third patrol making his way back in. Perfect timing. Worked out wonderfully. I'm not even mad. So we'll kill this guy. Get our health and mana all the way topped up. Well, I guess to pull the graves, you don't need full health and full mana, but in some instances they just seem to do a lot more damage than others. It's probably depending on, you know, sometimes only one spawns from a grave, sometimes none, and sometimes 3 spawn from a single grave. So it's just dependent on RNG, I suppose. I don't know the math behind it, but obviously the more that spawn, the more damage you're going to take, the more health you're going to lose. Usually in the first pool, if I don't lose my barrier or health halfway through it, I'll just wait and hold my Nova until I start losing health, and then I'll freeze them. Just because it gives me more time to open more graves, which means I'm gonna make the run that much faster. So I pull the one side, reset them, get my health and mana back if I'm missing a whole bunch. If not, I'll just shield up and go for the next line of graves. So I do the whole right side on the first pull. Sometimes I'll get the middle and the very back, and then after I reset, I'll get the entire left side, like which is directly in front of me. I mean the left side. I'll usually go to the back and run towards the boss as I open the graves. Let's get that over with. And honestly, you want more zombies. You want RNG to create more. You know, you want 3 zombies per grave, because in the end that's gonna equal more gold, more vendor items, etc, etc, etc. This time we got a decent amount, and as you can tell, not activating the boss sends them all back to the grave that they spawned from, which is super awesome. That means we get all of them. None of them get bugged into the wall and are unable to be, you know, aggroed. I mean, you still can technically aggro them, but you have to run up on top of them in AoE, and then they will aggro the ones inside the wall. But that creates a lot of time for all the other zombies to get to you. Basically, you're not going to be able to one pull it if you have zombies in the wall. maybe you could with ice block, but this is just way more efficient, way safer, just quicker all around. You just spawn all the zombies, mount up, pull them, kill them, it's done. And we do clear bugs, so I know a lot of people, oh, they're not even elites, they don't even drop raw silver, blah blah blah. But the vendor items from the bugs are actually very lucrative. I don't think I've ever used that word, but I've seen it on other people's videos, their gold making videos. So yeah, like I didn't get down to, you know, how much I make an hour or whatever. You know, things go wrong, you die, stuff comes up in real life that you have to go do, so that stuff happens to me. I just farm when I'm able to. I don't really count it up or figure what I'm doing, and that's fine, because either way, you know, I'm making money, it's all good. I actually did not take very much damage here, which is awesome. Usually you lose like 75% of your health, sometimes you don't, which is even better. More chance of survivability. Now the one tactic I use here to gather them up faster, you'll see me like run and stop, run and stop, run and stop, or I'll run, jump, stop, jump, stop, jump, stop. What this does is if you're constantly moving, the mobs are constantly turning with you and running at the same time, so they don't group up as fast as when you stop, because that gives them a center point to run to for a set amount of seconds. So if you continuously run in circles and circles and circles and never stop to let them bunch up, it's going to take you 3 or 4 circles going around this area. So right here I had to resist, and I did not have my cold snap, so I had enough of them grouped up to cone of cold literally every one of them. Right here I'm going to use rank 1 blizzard, and what I'm doing right now essentially is buying myself time until my Frost Nova comes off of cooldown. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the bugs. As you'll see here, I Frost Nova a bug, and when I drop my blizzard, the patrol from the other hallway that I skip, because this never happens until I record, he walks into the blizzard. So now I have 2 extra mobs. It's not a clean pull. The bug and the other guy, they could have knocked my shields off, but luckily all the cooldowns worked out perfectly. I was able to get a good cone of cold off there. Ice barrier came back off cooldown, so I can tank this guy. It worked out really well. It doesn't always happen that way, I promise. Just kind of lucky. So he knocked my ice barrier off. I have mana shield up. Luckily I'd already done enough damage to all the zombies that they were basically dead. Otherwise this would have been really scary. Another thing I will say, if you run out of mana and all the zombies are still alive, you can like use rank 1 cone of cold if they're grouped up enough to kite them around, and once they're like 10% health or lower, they actually don't run at normal run speed. So you can kite them out a lot easier and buy time for your mana to regenerate, or enough time for your to be able to cone of cold or whatever. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. I hope you liked it. Go put it into practice, make some bread, and as always, baby, keep it classic.